Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're going to touch on a bit of a sticky subject that a lot of people, especially the Muay Thai fighters out there who just worship the fighters from Thailand. You might not be a fan of this episode simply because I'm going to call into question how many of these fighters are taking banned substances. And why did this come to my attention today? Well, one of the best fighters that I've ever seen, he's actually a 1FC champion at my weight class in kickboxing. He is being suspended for use. So we're going to roll the intro and we're going to take a look at this. The first thing that I want to acknowledge is I am not attacking all Thai fighters in this episode. I am going to call in some questions on what's happening over there, but I'm not going, oh, all Thai fighters are taking some type of banned substance or steroid. So the news, if you missed it, was, let's check the guy's name here. He's a fantastic fighter. So many of them are named Petchtanong, and then his last name Petchfergus. Petchtanong Petchfergus. Fantastic fighter. If you have not seen him, you should watch him. So what the news was today was this guy has been stripped of his one championship bantamweight title after testing positive for methadone and boldenone, two performance-enhancing drugs. Additionally, he has been suspended from competing in one championship for 1 year. When you hear something like that, it's kind of just like all the other fighters. When you heard Canelo got popped, when you heard some of the other fighters in the UFC got popped, it happens very often. And you go, oh, okay, it's this one fighter making a decision to actively cheat to get his body that much stronger and no big deal. Or at least in terms of all fighters. I don't think about all fighters having done some sort of PED. What does come into question is when he starts talking about, well, when he makes a statement. So first of all, and something that should have already popped into our mind, let's look at some of the facts here. And while we're on the subject of PEDs, banned substances, remember there are other ways to heal your body without having to take these. My go-to over the last little bit, not a sponsored episode by the way, just giving these guys a shout out, Magnesium from Bioptimizers. This month only, you can get a free bottle. Only pay for shipping. I'm going to drop a link down below there, and I can't recommend this enough. It has helped me so much with my recovery. Simple magnesium, but 7 forms of magnesium to help your body just get better sleep and better recovery. And in addition, if you guys are checking out my Rash guard from XMartial, I'm going to throw a link as well to them down below. You can save 10% on their products with the promo code, which is going to be down there. Petchtanong is 37 years old, a year younger than me, but I have about 45 fights. This dude has, between his kickboxing and Muay Thai record, holds over 400 bouts, 10 times the amount of me. When you start adding that up, you are going, holy smokes, this dude must have been doing at least 10 to 20 fights per year. And the first question there should be, how is his body still going after all this impact? But upon hearing what he says in his statement, we kind of learn or begin to understand. So it says, Petchtanong responds. Upon hearing the news of being stripped of his world title, he took to Facebook to respond. He explained that the positive test results have not been repeated despite multiple tests. So that kind of makes it sound like, oh, okay, maybe he just had a false positive and no big deal. But then it goes on to say that, well, in addition, it also says he was tested after his world title win and had no substances of note in his system. He also goes on to say he was not told ahead of time that one championship had any restrictions on PEDs. He also explained that he temporarily had used steroids to heal ongoing injuries and that his positive test came from a time when he was inactive and not competing. So he openly admits there that yes, I have been taking PEDs to heal injuries. If you don't know already, PEDs are going to help your body recovery. It's going to help your muscles build. There's so much about them I don't honestly understand. I've had some people, I don't know why, because I'm not a big scary looking dude, but I've had some people when my shirt's off be like, oh yeah, Gabriel, he's on PEDs. I don't even know anything about them, and I'm definitely never taking them, and I definitely never will, because to me it's just not worth it. I'll do it myself or I won't do this sport. So let's look at his actual statement, word for word. He said, regarding the statement made by one pertaining to my doping test result on the 10th of June, 2023, so fairly recently, He said, it was an event that happened when I wasn't scheduled to fight for 8 months. I had no knowledge of when I would be scheduled again. He said on that day, I was watching a fight at Lumpini Stadium. I'm not sure why he would be getting tested if he's just watching fights. He said he had no previous knowledge that even when you aren't booked, you can't have doping substances in your system, even if it's to heal from an injury. He went on to say the substances that I used were to get help with recovery from an injury. During the time when I was waiting to get my fight scheduled, I was injured in my left elbow. So I went to the doctors, I received treatment with an injection in which most fighters, when they're injured, will go to the doctor to receive treatment and injections if they sustain a long-term injury. So he kind of right away, at least in my mind, openly says that many Thai fighters, when they get injured, are going to go to their doctor and get some sort of PED injection. Now, if you don't already know, if you have never been to Thailand, you might not be aware that apparently you can just walk into a pharmacy, any pharmacy, and just get steroids. It's not a banned substance, or it's not something like a lot of the things that you need to get a prescription for, you don't need over there. You can just walk in and get whatever the heck you want. We were down in Mexico recently and we went into a pharmacy so my dad could get something. I can't remember what he needed when we were there. But anyway, they were joking, these people behind us, like, oh, you know, you can pick up anything while you're here. You can get some steroids, you can get this, you can get that, blah, blah, blah. So in these other countries, not North America, and probably not in Europe, some of the other ones in the world, it's much easier to get these. So if Petch is saying that all the other fighters, or most of the other fighters, or it's very common for fighters to go in and get these, then that leads me to believe that many people within Thailand, many of these Muay Thai athletes are doing that. And if they're not testing within Thailand, then many people would probably be going, well, why not? Why would I not do this? And then he went on to say, as for my case, I've received both injection and an MRI, and also physical therapy, including acupuncture, laser treatment, every way possible. I have clear proof for everything I mentioned. And then he said he had no prior knowledge about the banned substances before, and they were never informed of test results nor any communication from one. And he will say, as a Thai representative, or a representative of Thai athletes, we are new to this kind of subject. There has never been any briefing, and no one ever told us or has given us any advice regarding banned substances. So again, sort of saying that, yeah, we can take these over here. It's not a big deal. Nobody told us when we're in these other countries that these are not allowed. And it's kind of interesting that it's going down this way, because if you just put somebody in the limelight and just go, yeah, you're taking it, most people go, no, I'm not. It's wrong. Like Canelo, he's like, oh, it was the beef. It was the cow meat, which I'm eating down in Mexico. It has some hormone in it, which is making me have PEDs in my body. Everybody kind of rolls their eyes like, oh yeah, okay. But this guy is just saying, no, I got the injections and it's to help me with an injury. Now, the reason I don't like that, there's still a little more to read here, but the reason I don't like that is we can start to see people as they age, like Petch, 37, myself, 38. If every time you get an injury, you have the advantage to go and recover that much faster, in my mind, it's still cheating. It might just be recovery. I mean, maybe those PEDs help your performance once you start getting into camp, I don't know, but to be able to push and push and push and destroy your body, but then rebound that much faster because you're taking some sort of steroid, it's not really fair. If I could go every day and train 100% and know every time I have an injury, I'll just use some injections to heal, it's definitely going to give me an advantage. But now I have to be very aware of which days I can push hard, which days I can't, how to avoid injury so I can train decently hard the next day. It's a very interesting topic. The last thing that he goes on to say is, I would like to reiterate that before and after the fight on November 19th, 2022, when I won the belt, I tested immediately after the fight and no substances were found. I thought he just said that he didn't know that it was banned over there. If you don't know that it's banned, but they're testing you, what are you being tested for? It seems like a little bit of a gray area. If they pull you back and they want a urine test, obviously they're going to be testing you. And obviously there are banned substances. So I don't 100% know how that lines up in what he said, but he does say he wants to appeal it, and at least he's going online and he's giving his opinion. So interesting topic. I know many people out there are going to say, no, all these fighters like Sanchai and stuff would never, ever take them. They're 100% legit. But once you hear about a fighter like this, taking banned substances and then going, oh, Well, who else is taking them now? And keep in mind that not many promotions test their fighters. I have fought over 45 times. We're talking going to Japan, China, Dubai, throughout Europe, North America, all over. And I've been tested one time in Los Angeles on a card where there was Miracle Crow Cop, Big Baby Jarrell Miller, all these guys who were massive compared to me. They randomly selected 3 fighters. I was one of them. That's the only time. So many of these people who are traveling around are not being tested. And now that we know it's a common use for athletes in Thailand to get these injections, you have to wonder, how many of them are actually on a substance? And they might not look like it in the traditional sense where they're ripped and jacked, but that's just not their body type. And they're not taking it for that. They're taking it for fast recovery from injuries. So again, a bit of a sticky topic. What do you think? Drop it in the comments below. Do you believe that this is an advantage, an unfair advantage? Do you now think that maybe a lot of these Thai fighters are actually on some sort of PED, even though you wouldn't think it? Because you look at their body and you're like, oh, they're small, they're not muscular, it's not gonna be them. But that's not the case. So let me know what you think below. Thank you for joining me today, guys. As always, train hard, and I'll see you back here soon for another episode.